Here we have the anterior longitudinal ligament. It's running on the anterior surface of the vertebral bodies all the way up the spinal column. Here we have the ligamentum nuchae running on the spinous processes in the cervical spine and extending posteriorly. And this takes the place of the supraspinous ligament, so that there's no supraspinous ligament on the cervical spine. Here we have the supraspinous ligament in the thoracic and in the lumbar region, running on the posterior aspects of the spinous processes, running down the entire length of the spinal column. Here we have the ligamentum flavum running from lamina to lamina. It's actually best seen if the pedicles are cut and you can look at it from the other side, from inside looking out. What this ligament does is it fills in this hole between the laminas and helps form the posterior wall of the spinal canal, thereby protecting the spinal cord. All right, now we have two examples of an intertransverse ligament, which goes between transverse processes here in the thoracic spine, and then also seeing that in the lumbar spine where they're a lot more prominent. In the cervical spine, these ligaments are not present. Then we also have interspinous ligaments, which go from spinous process to spinous process. Here's one in the thoracic spine, and then here's one in the lumbar spine. Next up, we have the posterior longitudinal ligament. This is just 3 lumbar vertebrae, but this ligament runs up and down the entire vertebral column on the posterior surface of the vertebral bodies. And what's interesting about this ligament is this is what gets pushed on when you have a disc herniation. So that's actually comes into the classification of what type of disc herniation you have and how bad it is, whether or not this ligament is ruptured.